In the earliest teachings of yoga, yoga is defined as skill in action. In this practice, we'll work on skills of back bending, side bending, balance, and twist. Skill in action requires us to be proficient. We don't have to be excellent. We don't have to be superior, simply to be purely proficient. We'll begin in a seated position. In the seated position, cross your legs in the way that you are not as familiar with. We all have ways that we cross our legs that feels most comfortable to us, but cross your legs the opposite way and hide your ankles with your shin bone right at the mid calf there. Press the back shin bone into the front leg so that you've got a strong action. As you press into the baby toe side of the foot, draw yourself slightly forward. Now, that is very difficult for you. Elevate yourself. I'm on two blocks that allow me to come slightly forward, even as I keep my legs very active. Yoga is this skill in action. Yoga is a practice where we engage fully. We engage in discernment of our alignment and in activating our muscles to keep a nice tone in our postures. When you're ready, lift yourself up. Let's cross the legs the opposite way. Now, that way that you're most familiar with, press the baby toe side of the foot like you're doing a karate chop with your foot. Have that leg that's behind really press the shin bone into the leg that is forward as you come down to the forward fold. We're not going too deep. We're allowing the arms to stay strong, the legs to stay engaged, to get that skill in the actions as you draw forward. Inhale and lift yourself up. In this practice, I always like to have a blanket, a strap, and some blocks handy, and we'll be using those. If you don't have them, you can improvise. Let's come to standing position. Stand tall. Engage fully by spreading your fingers and spreading your toes. Take your arms up. Grab hold of your left wrist as you draw over to get a nice side stretch, as if tapping your big toe to the side for balance. Press strongly into the strength of the right leg as you reach your left leg to the side. You might even want to lift your foot up if you're feeling engaged and balanced. Release your foot down. Come to the opposite side. So inhale, take your arms up. Hold on to the right wrist with the elbow slightly bent, with your right fingers reaching out to the side. Give yourself a nice stretch to the side body and tap your right big toe out to the side as you take your foot off the earth and balance nicely. Enjoy your breath here. Release your foot down and come back to Tadasana at the front part of your mat. So as you stand tall in Tadasana, invite the breath to create this fullness in the upper chest. Yoga is skill in action. As you reach your arms up to the sky and slightly back, just find this fullness. Exhale, release your hands down. We'll do that 2 more times with your fingers spread, engaging from the fingertips all the way to the heart. Reach your arms up, look up and back. Exhale, release your hands. 1 more time. Inhale in the standing back bend. As you reach your arms up slowly and slightly back, you open to these possibilities of fullness. Exhale, come to a forward fold by bending your knees. Place your hands right alongside your feet and step your right foot back. Balance yourself by taking your hands to the top of your knee. Stay balanced and steady as you soften the front thigh. Keep a nice lift to the back thigh. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. See if you can even look back. Exhale, release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place both hands to the low back and rise up. Again, reach your hands up with the hands nice and wide apart, with your gaze up, with your gaze reaching back. Exhale, come to the forward fold with your knees bent again. Take your left leg back. Balance yourself again. Take your hands right above your knee. The skill in the action of this high lunge is to get the back foot to be more vertical. And with that, you get a lifting quality of the back leg to allow you to soften in the front leg. Keep that nice tone to the legs as you reach your arms up, your gaze up, your gaze slightly back, your hands slightly back. Exhale, release your hands. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. From Tadasana, get a nice ease to the breath, a nice fullness. Represent that skill in action through the breath and through your movements. Inhale with your eyes bright, reach your hands up and slightly back. Exhale, come to the forward fold. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back, come to a plank position. Pause in the plank position to skillfully lower yourself to the mat. On the in-breath, bend your knees, reach your hands straight back, lift yourself up, and exhale. Certainly, some of us can grab hold of our feet. Since it's the first part of the practice, you can just allow your feet to be free as you work the strength of the back muscles to reach your hands back. Exhale, soften. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. Release your feet. Take your hands alongside your ribs. On the in-breath, draw your heart forward. On the exhale breath, soften. Come back through all fours position to downward facing dog or all fours position, your choice. So as you come to that pose of your choice, pause there. Allow the weight of the head to give your neck that extra length. Allow your breath to give your right side ribs, your left ribs, the extra length, the extra fullness. On your next in-breath, reach your right leg so that the hip stays parallel as we begin this action. Now lift the right hip a little bit higher than the left. Bend your right knee. Just open the side body really nicely. Now step the right foot right between your hands. You can do that in 2 steps or 1. Bring your back knee down. Take your hands to right above the knee. Inhale, take your arms up, take your hands nice and wide apart, open the chest, keep your hands wide apart as you let the pelvis draw down. It's as if you're reaching your heart toward the sky. Release your hands down, step your back foot forward, place your hands to your low back, lift yourself up, Tadasana, this mountain pose again. Stand tall. Engage fully. Show the skill in action this proficiency in the engagement, in the alignment. Inhale, reach your arms up and slightly back. Exhale with bent knees. Take your hands alongside your ankles. Step your right foot back, your left foot back to come to a plank position. Lower yourself very easily to the mat. On the in-breath, draw your heart forward. On the exhale breath, soften to come to all fours position. Downward facing dog, or stay in all fours position. Lift your left leg up and keep your hip points parallel to the earth to begin with. Engage the lifted leg. Lift your left hip a lot higher than your right now. Bend your knee. Look forward between your hands. Step your left foot right between your hands. Bring your back knee to the earth. Take your hands to right above the knee. Settle in. Keep a nice strength to the back leg. So you draw the pelvis to the earth. Reach your arms up. Engage so fully in the pose. As you spread the fingers with the hands wide apart, your gaze slightly back. Release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. We'll do one more lunge, this time with a twist. With your eyes bright, reach your arms up and slightly back. Exhale, lower yourself to the earth and take your right leg back. This time, keep your right knee lifted. Take your left hand to the waist, twist. Reach your left arm up and over your head. Lift your back foot to vertical as you extend all the way from the pelvis to the crown of the head, out through your fingertips to gain this nice length to the side body. Release your hand down. Step to a plank position. Lower yourself slowly to the mat. Place your hands alongside your ribs. On the in-breath, come to a baby cobra pose. On the exhale breath, soften. Come through all fours position to downward facing dog. Walk, step, or hop your way to the front of the mat. Place your hands to the low back and rise up. One more high lunge. Inhale, take your arms up, reach back in a standing back bend. Exhale, come to the earth. Take your left leg back. Keep your back leg really lifting and active as you soften in the front leg. Take your right hand to your waist. Turn your heart toward your inner right knee. Reach your arm up and over and expand once again through the breath, through the form of the pose. Release your hand down. Come to a plank position. Lower down. Breathe in for a baby cobra. Breathe out for downward facing dog. Walk, step, or hop your way to the front of the mat. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Step off the mat. And as you step off the mat, just gain a nice rootedness in 2 feet with a spread to your toes so you get a strong foundation. Keep the strong foundation in the right leg as you take the weight off of your left. Lift your leg up. See if you can get it lifted really high. Release your foot down. Same thing, get a spread to your left toes. Feel very rooted in the left leg so that you can lift your right leg up. Stay strong in the standing leg. Release your foot down. Balance on the opposite side. So root down through the right leg. Lift your left leg up. Now this time, do it without using your hands. See if you can lift the foot higher. Now place the foot against the inner thigh. Keep the leg really strong. Reach your arms out. Let the arms help you stay balanced as you stay rooted and root down from the pelvis to the earth. You get this nice feeling of length and spaciousness from the pelvis to the crown of the head and out through the fingertips. Release your hands down. Release your foot down. Come to balance on the opposite side. So get a wide foundation. As you're ready, just through the strength of the legs, see if you can lift it. A lot of hip flexion here before coming into a tree pose. And allow your arms to help you out in the pose. Keep this nice, joyful attitude as you stay balanced. Maybe you can even take your gaze a little bit higher, even toward the sky. Release your hands down. Release your foot down. Come to all fours position on your mat again. You may want to use blocks if you've got them. As you come to all fours position with blocks, step your right foot right between the blocks. Lift up your right toes and straighten your right leg. Walk your blocks back so they're approximately right under your shoulders. As you spread your toes, you're rooting down through the right heel and pulling from your right heel toward your pelvis as you draw down. As you keep your right leg active, rather than rounding your spine and bringing your nose toward your knee, lift your chin. Reach your heart forward. Keep a nice length in the spine. Lift up and trade sides. Take your left foot forward. Lift your left toes up. Walk your blocks back so your hands are underneath your shoulder with a nice spread to the toes. As you take the heads of the arm bones back and lift your chin just slightly, so that you try not to round the upper back. We're lengthening the back side of the leg with a nice strong engagement of the leg. You're drawing from the toes all the way to the pelvis. You feel a nice engagement in the quads, in the top of the thigh there, as you go a little bit deeper into your pose. Inhale, lift yourself to come out of the pose. Now let's come to a standing position. So as you come to a standing position, you won't need your blocks here. Step your right foot forward. Step your left foot back. Keep the back heel planted nicely. Take the hands to your low back. You're just pressing your flesh toward the earth as you draw your elbows in. Now reach your gaze up to the sky. Keep drawing the elbows in toward each other. Keep rooted through the back heel and draw yourself just slightly forward, reaching your heart slightly forward. Keep softening down. Now it's the back leg that's really working to engage fully to allow a little bit more expansion in the front leg. You're working to keep the spine as nice and elongated as possible, similar to the last pose. You draw your heart forward as the elbows keep on hugging in to keep the shoulder blades engaged. Root down through the back foot to lift yourself up. Step the back foot forward. Take your right foot back. And again, press down through the back heel. Place the hands to the low back. Hug your elbows in. Look up toward the sky. Keep your legs scissoring in toward one another. As you open the heart so fully, you get the strong rooted quality, the back leg. Keep that as you bring your weight toward the front leg. The back heel is rooted. You're scissoring the legs, strong engagement, skillful action is allowing you to go slightly deeper in your forward fold. Root down through the back leg to inhale, lift yourself up out of the pose, release your hands, and come to sit on the floor. You can come to sit through a squat pose or whatever way is easiest for you. As you come to sit, extend your right leg out. Take your left foot just to the outside of the right leg. Now, for some of us, if we do a double fold of the legs, the pelvis stays on the earth. But for others of us, it just makes more sense to keep the legs straight. So you figure out what works for you. Let the leg be skillful in its action. So often when we come to these twists, the arm is pulling the leg deeper into the twist, but have the leg do the action, pulling in toward the midline. So you really feel an engagement of the inner thigh muscles. With the left fingertips pressing on the floor, so you bring the top of the pelvis forward slightly to refine the alignment of your lumbar curve. Keep pulling in with this bent leg. Reach your right arm up to get length first. Now take the elbow down to the outside of the leg. And again, it's not the arm overpowering the action of the leg. Leg is still staying active. And your extended straight leg is very engaged. It's skillful in its action, very proficient, not slacking one bit. Turn your heart into the twist. Perhaps you can even take your gaze over your left shoulder in the twist. Release out of your twist and straighten the left leg. Bend your right knee, place your right foot to the outer knee or outer thigh. And again, some of us can bend both legs and still keep the hip points nice and parallel. Your choice. In whatever variation you're in, make sure this forward bent leg is very active. As you place your right hand behind you, your left hand to the outer knee, turn your heart toward the bent leg. Reach your left arm up to get even more length and skillfully place your hand or your elbow to the outside of the knee. Your choice in the pose. Now take your attention to your breath. Are there some refinements to allow you to skillfully take yourself to a deeper form of the twist just through lengthening the exhale breath? If you'd like to take your gaze out over your shoulder, please do that. Release yourself now out of the twist to come to lie on your back. And in this position, I'm going to grab my strap. If you've got one, grab it. If you don't have a strap, you can improvise. You can use a towel or a belt of your choice. As you lie down on your back, have your knees bent. Take your right foot up toward the sky. Take the strap around the right foot. Reach your right foot up. Turn your right toes to externally rotate your leg. Draw your right foot toward the earth while keeping your left hip point parallel. Left hip point likes to lift up when you take your weight in the right leg over to the side. So with the bent left leg, you're helping to keep your pelvis in alignment, keep your hip points parallel, keep externally rotating the right leg by turning your toes toward the earth. Inhale, lift your leg up. Release your foot. Keeping your right leg bent, take your left foot in the air. Take hold of the strap in your left hand. Turn your left toes to externally rotate the leg. Draw your toes toward the earth in this external rotation. I like keeping my right hand to the right hip point just to see if I can tell if one hip point is higher than the other. And typically that right hip point likes to just pop up. So you have to really back off for most of us in the actions. Inhale, lift your foot up, and exhale, release the strap. Take your strap now around your right foot. Hold on to the strap with the left hand. Wrapping the strap around your hand allows you to soften your grip slightly. Your fingers are not working so hard. Straighten your bottom leg with your right leg straight, your left leg straight, both legs engaged. Pass your right foot just slightly to the left, so you're keeping your right hip on the mat. Keep a strong engagement, pressing through the base of the toes into the strap. Now let your right hip leave the earth. So as you do, the left leg stays active. You're taking your foot over to the side so that the right thigh and right shin bone are almost parallel to the earth. Root down to inhale and lift your foot up. Exhale, bend the knee, plant your foot to take your left foot in the strap at the base of the toes. Wrap the strap again right around the palm. As you straighten your right leg, engage your left leg by spreading your toes. Anchor your left shoulder as you draw slightly across the midline with the pelvis firmly down. We're not lifting the pelvis yet for the twist. Now you can allow your left hip to lift up while keeping your right leg active. Take your left leg toward the side. In this full twist, with your left shin bone parallel to the earth, keep your right leg very active. Inhale, lift your foot up. Exhale, release your foot down. Bend both knees again. Take your strap to your side. With your knees bent, your option. You can lift your pelvis up for a supported bridge pose, with the pelvis being supported completely by the blocks. Take your blocks so that the sacrum is completely supported, and pause here in a supported bridge. A nice way to really open the chest. Keeping that support, you might want to take your feet up toward the sky. Or if you'd rather do a bridge pose without the support of the blocks, your choice, any one of these three poses. To open the upper chest, to gain this skill in balancing the actions of the practice. As you settle into Shavasana, you can take your pelvis off the blocks or release it to the mat from bridge. Let your legs just relax on the floor, your arms relax. Close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your breath. Yoga is skill in action. As you take your attention to your breath, that awareness that you give to the breath allows for so much more fullness. The focus allows for a longer and fuller exhale breath. You notice how the weight of your pelvis allows your legs to completely relax. The weight of the shoulders allows the arms to relax. And as the body relaxes, the mind relaxes. you begin to assimilate the practice that allowed you to take your attention to strengthening the back, to lengthening the sides, to lengthening the back side of the legs. And through those actions, create a little bit more fullness in your twist, in hip extension, in hip flexion. You stay attuned to the breath. Yoga is skill in action. Allow the skillful awareness of the action of the breath to take you deeper into the sense of relaxation. Lengthen the exhale breath. Very slowly bend your knees, plant your feet. Take your arms up and over your head. Draw to your side. Let your head rest on your arm. Very slowly, as you bring your awareness to the room, come to a seated pose. Place your hands right in front of your heart. We honor these teachings that allows us to find that skill in our actions. To the teachings we bow. Namaste.